Hey, how's it going? I just want to talk about money, power, and respect, and all of those things that are attached to those concepts. And the first thing that I'm going to go through is the story of a person who's called Thales. So Thales is a very important person in history, and he is a Greek philosopher. So the reason why he's the most important philosopher is because he's actually the first philosopher in the world. He's also the first scientist, and he's also the first mathematician in the Western world. So Thales is an important figure in finance, in history, and in the world because of that. So he was the first to develop scientific methods. So everything that we're talking about in terms of science comes from this person called Thales. So why he's important in terms of money, power, and respect, and and all of that is because of the title that he also has as the first options trader, or the first one of the first ancient traders. So trading is way old, and people have been investing in trading in different ways since, I don't know, since forever. So why I think he's key in the trading or the financial environment is because of a certain trade that he once made. So it is a story that has two different versions. So the story of Thales is that um, his friends were actually mocking him, or people in Greece were mocking him, saying that, hey, Thales, with all of your learning and your erudition, how come it is that you don't have a lot of money? And it's like, hey, I'll show you. So he used his knowledge in order to predict a harvest of olives, an olive harvest. So he knew what was going to happen in the future. So he took action in the moment. He took action by buying all of the wine presses in that area. So that is one version. He took action by buying the wine presses in that area, or he took action by putting a deposit to rent the wine presses in that area. So when the predicted harvest came, he was the individual who was loaning these wine presses out to people so that they could store their olives. So in doing that, he created a derivative or a trade or an investment, and he got so rich. And he was like, yeah, you see, I made all this money. So he didn't make money in order to just make money, but he made money because he had that knowledge, and through that philosophy, he was able to get that result. So this is an important aspect of the understanding of what trading is, or what investing is, what making money is. It's all just a philosophy. So money itself is a philosophy, right? So Thales is interesting, or is important in understanding how the world at large works. He actually believed that everything in the world is formed by water. One of the reasons why is because his name, Thales, the root of his name, Thale, actually means moisture or water, humid. So, in his mind, he thought that everything is based on water, which is close to the truth. Or it's actually true, I guess. But I don't know. It's debatable. But when the world was created, it was created on water. You know, the spirit hovered over the surface of the water. The water was already there. So the water is the basic building block of everything. And in my point of view, I see money as a water-based currency because it's a current. So this currency creates energy. This currency creates electricity. This current is the currency. This current is a current in the river directed by two banks. And that is how I see it. So to me, money is a philosophy. And to Thales, he's so important because of two other reasons. The first reason is his nativity, that he's Greek born, but he's a Phoenician. His parents are Phoenician. So Phoenicia is the most important city in the world based on ancient history. And based on what is still happening today. You know, nothing is new under the sun. So everything that they're doing is Phoenician. Everything that has been happening is Phoenician. All the phonics that we're talking about are Phoenician. So in that aspect, I speak about that in how the financial system works. And the financial system is based on Phoenician aspects. And the way that Thales used to see the world was it being a water-based world because he's Phoenician. And in Phoenicia, you'd see that everything in the city was centered around the trade. And he thought that everything centered around this trade, which is still the case. You have to go across seas, and we still say that we ship goods even if it's a plane, because you have to go across seas in order to sell goods. Um, a large percentage, I think it's 60% now, of all of the trade that is made is due to ships. So it's because of the water. And everything that we need in our body is because of water. So water is very important, and that is how he saw it. And another reason why Thales is so interesting in terms of how we see it is because of where he got his knowledge from. He got his knowledge from Egypt. So he is the first Western philosopher who was educated in Egypt. So in Egypt is where the center of the world was, in Africa. In Africa. So he was educated in Africa. So he's African educated. And then he is where all of the other philosophers get all of their information from. So where did he learn this? He learned it in Africa. And this is really important. Like, someone would hear this and say that, all right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where he got the information from. But it does, because this is something that is often ignored. So it leads you to question or to wonder how the people who gave him the knowledge got the knowledge in the first place, or what sort of people those people were, if we didn't even know about them. But they educated every Greek scholar. So it's Socrates went to Africa for 22 years, yeah, and is it Plato? I think it's Aristotle. Plato went to Africa for 14 years, just learning there in Africa. So. So it's something that should be noteworthy as a place where these philosophers started philosophizing. Yeah. So they started developing all of their theories and all of their ideas. So even up to today, what we call money is still just a theory. So this is just a brief history of Thales, the Phoenician, the Greek Phoenician, the first philosopher. He is one of the 7 sages of Greece. He's the first sage. So he actually got a golden ball of being so wise twice. This person. He's the first philosopher after Pythagoras. He lived 30 years before Pythagoras. He lived 463 years before Christ, and 30 years before Pythagoras. And if you know anything about Pythagoras, Pythagoras was awesome. So awesome in the sense that he used to do some interesting things. So Thales was before all of that. He's the first philosopher, and he's the first trader. How's that? So when you're investing, you have to realize that investing also needs a philosophic mind. This is why the people of old who were looking for wealth used to look for a philosopher's stone. So this is important to realize, that philosophy and finance is hand in hand, like they work hand in hand. So you need to have a clear philosophy of what you're doing. And this is why I think George Soros is a good financier, because he has a clear personal philosophy that he uses, which is reflexivity. So given that, he has a basis on which to make all of his decisions. And with Thales, he was using astro finance in order to create that trade. So you could just look him up and check him out and see some of the stuff that he was going through, because he's the first Western philosopher from all of this, and he got a good education. So thanks a lot for watching this, and I'll see you soon. Yeah.